Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome to another high-powered episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder with NEC Code, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. I am joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. King James Stallcup, over there in Big Sky Country, Texas, giving an old hook 'em horns from the Mile High City. And really awesome that you put these together with the old Stallcup electrical education. You guys are just doing big things now with all your new products out and all your books out, all your code stuff selling real well. So we're really happy to have y'all join us every week and just kind of celebrate how great everything's going for us, and really appreciate it. And like I say, I had so much participation in the NEC Code Myth of the Week, and it just means a lot that everyone's joining in, participating, and just having fun with us. And we might have some special guests tonight for the Willie Quiz, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully they pop in. Like I say, they're pretty busy and stuff, so they might not be able to break away, but we'll see. Cross my fingers that we have a little competition for you in the easiest Willie Quiz ever. So you should keep your winning streak going there, with another easy quiz there, James.
3 for 3 2 weeks in a row. So, but the week before went 0 for 3. So,
right,
it just depends. But
got some music. Dun 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 dun. Oh man!
Smack. Oh, he's talking smack to me.
God. Oh man, he is the 5-time champ. So,
well, before we get rolling, I want to give updates here real quick. Okay. Some that might not have seen what we did Sunday. I'm going to share a screen here real quick and show everybody what we got and let everybody hopefully be excited about what we're about to be presenting out to the public and what they're going to have access to and everything. So let me share a screen here and I'll pull one up. This in here that I'm going to pull up is the grounding. Make sure you're seeing the grounding book, I'm assuming. This is going to be a PDF, and we have come in, we've recreated all new forms and everything. I mean, we've really taken it to as far as design levels and everything. We've done all kinds of stuff here. Now, one of the things I think everybody will like here is we have a table of contents and everything. The whole document's linked all over the place. That's why we spent so much time doing all this. But say you just wanted to come in here and you just pick the topic you want to look at, but just say I wanted to look at grounding electrode system installation. Just click, takes you right over here, and then you can start scrolling through, see all the installation requirements. And as you're going through this, we have a lot of links here. So like I could be reading here, the multiple rod pipes and plate electrodes shall not be less than 6 foot apart. Right there at the figure, it says see figure 71, just click, it'll take you right over to the figure. Now the reason that this is important, because like here in this note here, I might want to go back and look at 69 to see what that figure was about. Or maybe I'm wanting to say, well, what are they wanting to show me here in figure 73? So I just hover above the 73 there, click it, and here it takes you to it.
Oh, look who just popped in. It's old Mike Barr. What's up, Mike? Howdy, brother. Question for you. I noticed that you have the Gray Boy on there. Are you guys still doing? I thought you guys weren't doing Gray Boy anymore.
We are. What had happened was Dad wanted to keep that portion of it, and so we took it and we closed down the incorporation part, but we're opening up a new LLC called Gray Boy LLC. And so when all this took place, since I'm going to be over the publications and everything that's going on, I created a new, more modern logo to look at and everything. So hopefully everybody likes what we've done, with all the new looking logos. I mean, we've really redone a lot. Now, another one I'll show you right here real quick. This is one that deals with the light just these covers for all of it.
Yeah, I
And
love that freaking cover. That's freaking dope.
yeah, we really have spent a lot of time, but you still get in the same thing here. You can come in and just pick your topics in here that's specific to this. So if I was wanting to, say I was wanting to look at uh, residual surge protection here, you can come in here and you can see where we set all this up, and we just take you through one thing after another on how all this is. And one of the things that you're going to notice as you go through this is there's a lot of figures that go back and forth with each other here.
Right.
So you want to make sure you have access, and you'll notice we've redrawn like this here. This is where you have your surge protection, that equipment. This is exactly what your surge protection device is going to look like. So
Right.
we've actually gone in and spent a lot of time just tying all these different things in. This in here is probably one of my favorite illustrations because it gets in the signaling cable here, and we show you the signaling cable and the harmonics and why you got to bond everything in and ground it, and having your arresters located at the service equipment, everything bonded in to protect that equipment. So we
Yeah, I have to agree with Mike. That looks great, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. We just have just gone through, and as you look through this, you're going to get everything and more of what you need to go through and learn about lightning protection if you want to deal with that. I've already had quite a few people have already hit me up wanting to know when it's going to be available. Well, it's going to be available here really soon. That's the best I can put it to you right now because I'm taking and I'm right now. I'm at. Uh, I'm dealing with finishing up some of the linking and stuff like that, setting into the accounts and stuff like that, so you can purchase. Now, I will show you here. I'll show one more. This is. It's going to be sort
Oh,
of
we
like.
got Cameron in the house. Welcome in,
All
Cameron. Hey,
right.
what's up?
But you're going to be able to actually, you'll see it's going to look like a website when you come over here. I've already got the 3 books up, got the cost. I'm doing a few links and stuff now, and I've got to finish the about and contact. But this is going to be a separate website that's set up right here that is going to be for uh, just selling stuff. I will have links from the other website that comes over here, but anything you want to do is going to be self-contained within this website right here. So
So are these publications available at Builder's Bookstore currently?
no.
Okay.
So what is going to happen here is this particular one is going to be available for 2 weeks, and at that price. I can already tell you the grounding is probably going to be around $60, so it's like a third of the cost, and then it's a third of the cost for the lightning protection. It'll probably be a $45 book. So I'm going to put it up for 2 weeks because it's going to take them 2-3 weeks before they get all their stuff ready and put it online. So every new thing I come out with, I'm going to have a 2-week introductory offer of a third of the price. And then after that 2 weeks, if you didn't get it, too bad. Call me back or sending me a message, calling me saying I didn't see that, too bad. Because I work with the publisher and they'll be taking over from there. Now, what I will do is I will have them for sale the same price as them on that website, and I have something set up with them so they're getting their money. But the first portion of it is a third off, or buying it for a third of the price. So more than likely, I'm leaving tomorrow to go to a wedding. I'll be going all weekend in Oklahoma, but I'm going to try tonight to get everything up, put it on the groups and LinkedIn and everything like that they're for sale for 2 weeks. And then that 2-week period's over, then the price goes up. So that's where I'm at. and I'm almost there
All
with
right.
it. So all this stuff we've been telling everybody that is coming is now happening. And
Awesome.
I will tell you this: the generator transform motor book. I'm one chapter away from having the generator ready. Next week it'll go up for 2 weeks. Then I'm going to do the transform motor, and every time I get one of those sections done, or parts we call them, I'll sell them as individuals, and then the full book will come for sale after I get all that updated. And you can buy them as individuals, and then we'll also sell also as individual chapters for a 3 week or 2 week period, and then after that they'll take over, and then it'll go up to the regular price of what they decide it's going to be charged for. So I'm letting everybody
Yeah.
know it's coming. If you want to get these publications and all that linking and everything that's done in it, making it fully interactive, you can get it at this cost. And I've already had probably about 50 people reach out to me. When's it ready? When's it ready? I want to purchase it, make sure I don't miss. So I'm just letting
Nice.
everybody know that probably tomorrow you'll start seeing it on the group. So that's
So
my little intro
with
tonight.
with the PDF, you could actually like buy it for cheap and then print it yourself, right?
No, you can't print it.
Oh, you can't.
We've got it locked out. The reason we don't allow that, because we actually got caught. I'm not going to tell. It's been a couple of different ones, but they would buy the publication, then print it out, and then cut out the illustrations, make their own presentation, and teach with it, and wouldn't buy any publications or anything. So we locked that out. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. It's password
Nice.
protected. You can't go and modify it. You can't go and print it or do any of that.
Nice.
Now, once Builder's Bookstore starts selling, if you are an instructor and you purchase a publication, whether it's in color or grayscale, we don't really care. Once you purchase that, you prove them that you're an instructor, they'll give you the presentation for free, and it'll be fully in color. And I can tell you, the presentation alone is worth it for the instructor. The only thing we ask, if you're going to teach from it, at least purchase the publications for the students so they can do. And the great thing is this is another thing the instructors are really going to enjoy is, let's just say you're in the generator transformer motor book. And let's say, we got, here for 2 months, we're just going to be teaching how to do motor controls. You can actually purchase that chapter, and as an individual chapter, and if you're an instructor, we'll give you the presentation just for that, and then you can actually purchase that book in grayscale, or you can purchase it in color for your students, or have them purchase it, however, and they'll have just that publication on what you're teaching. You may just want to teach sizing overcurrent protection devices. We'll have one for that. You may just want to purchase calculating conductor ampasses. You may want to do designing wiring methods. You may want to do just branch circuits. You may just want to do feeders. Once the design comes out and we have all this, you're going to be able to customize just for the class that you're teaching. And we will be the only company that's going to offer those presentations like that with the publication. So,
I could tell you right now, I bet you John Reed's out there, his mouth's probably watering hearing all that, because I know he was waiting for some stuff to come out where he could do that for his class.
Well, I'm not going to say who it was, but I actually had from an IEC chapter has already reached out to me. He's over the IEC chapter education department, and he said, I can already tell you, we've been actually discussing how can we take and have certain publications as we're teaching through the year, and this way the students ain't got all these big books and stuff. And he said, when I heard you say that, he said, we actually had a meeting and I was telling them what you were doing and everything, and he said, we're on board with it. And he said, I can already tell you, we're going to purchase those, and we're going to also he goes, we're going to purchase the books because we want our students to have them. He goes, but our instructors are really excited because they want to have those illustrations to teach from. And I said, no problem. I said, that's why we're doing what we're doing. So
awesome. Well, cool. I guess we'll have to get rolling on the meme here. Awesome. Good news, sir.
I'm gonna tell you this: you did not send your meme, so I picked one out for you.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised I've missed one. All right.
Don't ever let that happen again. You understand?
Yours might be better than mine anyway, so it's all good.
Let's see if you like it. Here we go.
All right. That's like a remote control.
It is. Here on the other side of the wall, turn it on and off. I saw that. I was like, "Oh, he'll like that one."
Yeah, that's funny. I like it.
God.
All right, I'll let you pick them from now. Every now and then.
Oh God, that was funny. I saw that while I was looking, and I was like, "He didn't send that." I was like, "I'll find one. Hell, I ain't gonna bother him." So I just sort of went around the internet, just sort of looking. I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty good one. I like that one." So
I was trying to get the Willie Quiz put together. That's why I was.
Yeah, you were focused on it.
Yeah.
Right, ready for your myth? Got a
do it.
Good myth. Here we go.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right. Yeah, so we have an awesome myth this week. And this one is pretty funny. So, true or false, all electrical equipment is required to be UL listed. So, there's a little bit of a trick in there because a lot of people... And actually, there's a lot of people that said that this was true based on the fact that some inspectors will only accept the UL label. And that's what makes this actually false, is that nothing in the code would actually require that to be, like, UL doesn't have, like, a monopoly or anything, you know? Like, but this one's really interesting. This actually came from one of my apprentice's teachers. And I don't know if you remember this, James, but I asked you live on the NEC live show if class 1 transformer is required to be listed, you know.
I remember.
And and the thing that's funny about that when you look at it is, in all actuality, how do you list a piece of iron with copper wrapped around it? Oh, it looks like Cameron's got a question. So it'll be probably in about maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It'll be a little bit after like 7 my time is usually when we get to the Willie Quiz. We'll probably start it, we'll probably start it, like, we might even cut out one of the segments if we have to, if people start showing up right around 7. But I think that'd be 8 at
Central.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think he's in Central Time. He's in Winnipeg.
Basically in about 40 minutes.
Yep, something like that. But anyway, so this is really interesting, and I ran into this a lot, like out in the gas and oil, out in the patch. Almost nothing is listed out there. We're doing a lot of custom-made equipment. I'm putting the Willie Jackerson listing on a lot of stuff out there. And, we're getting inspected. Like, a lot of times we're sitting there, like, they're witnessing the torque as we're torquing this stuff. So it's not like we're just getting away without doing something correctly. And then we actually have field evaluation body that comes through, looks at it. We actually have the plant engineer that comes out, looks at it. And you'll have, at any given time, you'll probably have at least 4 to 5 sets of eyes on it to make sure that you're following all the different things that they want. And there's not really any specific standard that they're going off of. They just want to make sure that you're drilling the holes correct, and you're using the right hardware, and you're torquing it correctly, and you're using the right thickness of busing for like that ampacity rating, and there's just a bunch of little stuff that goes into it. But me and old Lemonhead, we always came out on top with that, and they always said it looked better than what could have come from the factory. So that always meant a lot from that standpoint. But like I say, a lot of these I could tell James's ears perk up when I talk to him about them, and he's like, "Oh, I got something for that." And so I really like this illustration you put up there, James. It's
Well,
pretty good.
I've got a few illustrations. One of the things we had, I don't remember when we did it, to be honest, but does NEC override the UL listing and labeling? And I said, hell no, it doesn't. And
Yeah.
I went through a whole thing. What was interesting about that is, a lot of times, mainly it's the ECD boys that want to argue with me, but I save some stuff because I let them hang themselves a little bit by asking very direct questions, and then they say, "Oh no, you don't." They don't have anybody, that does that, and so then I pull out and I say, "Well, if you go over here and look at 1910.7 B23, it goes through and lists all the people that are involved in order to create the testing procedure to make it an ANSI standard and also an ASTM standard for
Right.
testing materials and stuff." And when you go in and you look at it, one of the things they even have experts from that are experts on the NEC when it comes to deciding how they're going to list and label equipment. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you here as I run through all of this. I'm even going to get into talking about custom-made equipment because there's so much equipment that's out there, especially like the ballpark that's out there. They design their own equipment, and that takes me right back here to approval. So when you go look at, let me give you a little example. When you go look at 110.3B, it talks about the listing and labeling. And then if you look at 110.3A, that's where you get into the installation use of everything, and it gives you all these items that you have to consider when you're designing that equipment. Okay?
Sure.
Then if you look at 110.2 says that all your equipment has to be approved. And then when you go look at the definition of approved, that's over in Article 100, it says acceptable to the authority having jurisdiction. So a lot of times what happens is the oil fields and everything, your companies, Exxon, Mobil, British Petroleum, Arco, Texaco, all of them, they sometimes design their own equipment. I mean, they probably know better than the UL standards know. And
Sure.
they'll go out there and they'll design that equipment to make sure the equipment meets their needs, and it's also designed and installed in a safe manner. And then them being the authority having jurisdiction, they're the ones that give the approval of the equipment. And that's nothing uncommon there.
Yeah, and so I'll give an example of what we run into a lot is too much overcurrent protection. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll send out a sub panel and it'll have a main breaker, and then that'll go feed an outbuilding, and then that'll have a main breaker, and then that'll feed something else, and that'll have a main breaker, and they don't want all those separate overcurrent devices. They want to selectively coordinate them to one overcurrent device. And so a lot of times that's what we're doing is we're going and taking all those overcurrent devices out and just making one primary overcurrent device, and there's nothing that's violating the code. It's just making it more selectively coordinated to where they just have that all going to one point.
Sure. And if you notice right there in the illustration, we tell you the top note at the top, we tell you to look at the definitions of listed, labeled, approved, and identified. There's a reason we're telling you to start right there. And then you'll notice we get in and we tell you when you're looking at Underwriters Laboratories there, we pull it underneath it and we talk about listed, labeled, installation rules, and use of equipment. Okay? Those are things
Right.
they have to do in order to get approval of the equipment. Now, when you look here and watch this, this is where you go in and you get into your third-party certification. And if you look right back here where we were just at, we tell you right here in their note, OSHA now has approved about 15 testing laboratories, and then we give you some third-party certification that you would look at here. Okay?
Right.
Now, one of the things I want to point out is we give you key sections there. Okay, what are those key sections? Well, what's 90.7? That's your examination of equipment there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you go to 110.2, that's your approval, and then you get 110.3 B and C, you get into your listing and labeling. Okay,
and one thing I ran into this week too is it's kind of part of that definition of equipment. What is defined as equipment?
Sure.
You know, like a wire nut could be electrical equipment.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, I pretty much consider everything pretty much. But, you know, one of the things I like to point out here is by UL, they're recognized as a NERDL. Okay. They're a nationally recognized testing laboratory. Now, when you get into this, let's look at what the purpose is here. Now, you don't have to take my word for anything. All I would tell you to do is just take this one illustration right here, and you get in and look at the purpose of your custom-made electrical equipment. And the first thing I'm going to point out here is right in the middle. It's in red there. It says designed by. Well, what are you designing by? And you've heard me say this when we were doing this for if the NEC overrode it. It says it's designed by what? The NEC. It tells you, and now if it was Canadian, it'd be the Canadian code. But here we're talking NEC. They have to take that in consideration, and then they look at their other two standards that they'll use as UL 508 and 508A, and then they tell you that these testing standards and everything become an ANSI C series, and then for industrial control equipment, look at NFPA 79. And then right over beside to help tie that in, we give you the NEC rules here to look at, which I just discussed. And then here's your OSHA rules. Okay, now let's take a look from there. Now I have to decide here, as being a nationally recognized testing laboratory, look at my OSHA loop there. What is the first section we give you? 1910.7. That is the requirements that they put on a NERDL and what they are required to do in order to be considered a national testing laboratory. Okay?
Right.
And then if I look at 1910.303A, that's the start of everything right there, where you start getting into your listing and labeling, which ties you in with the definitions in OSHA 1910.399. And then you'll notice we give you the OSHA rules right down on the bottom left-hand side there, and we tell you 302 through 308. Well, why do we start at 302? Because I even gave an outline back then talking about March the 15th, 1972. Any equipment that was installed before that date is grandfathered in. Anything from that date to April 16th, 1981, if you did 50% or more repair within the, say, a room or a facility, then you had to bring everything up to that current code. And then anything after that was up to whatever the code was at that point. Okay?
Yeah, and that's where you get into that grandfather clause. There is, and just so everyone knows out there, my apprentices ask me this a lot. They're like, hey, do I always have to bring this up to code? Well, if you touch it, pretty much you got to bring it up to code, is the way that was kind of the rule we used to do. But in an actuality of the actual NEC, if it is, like, let's just say, for example, you're doing a panel swap and you have a 3-wire range. You can leave that a 3-wire range because that was considered code compliant at the time of install. So all you're doing is you're swapping the panel. Now, if you move the panel further than 6 foot and you move those conductors further than 6 foot, you might be required to do arc fault on a bunch of those bedroom circuits and a bunch of those circuits that require AFCI. So that's one thing you got to look into too.
Yeah. And then you come over here and look, we tell you, look, you're going to be looking at applying UL 508 here. And if you look once again, when you're applying UL 508, we put the design in here and tell you exactly what you need to do. And this is what gets me is if I was going to take and I'm going to do custom made equipment, I have an arrow pointing there. If this is industrial, we tell you here, not only are you going to be looking at NEC, but you need to consider NFPA 79. And then that ties
those
in
are
with
also
what? 110.2 and 110.3A1 through A8. Now, why didn't we put 110.3B there? Because you're designing with the code in mind, which is what? Your design and installation there in 110.3A. And that's what I'm telling you.
And then that would fall back on that approval you're talking about.
That's right. And that's why I wanted to take and put those illustrations up, because we've had those illustrations in our publications for, God, over 20, 25 years, and went through and laid out how to do the electrical codes and standards. Now, those illustrations I was just showing everybody, I'm actually going to have, when I put up the publication for sale, I'm actually going to have the electrical codes and standards chapter, and I'm actually giving it away for free. Okay, you'll see there's no cost on there. You can just go get it. I'm just going to give it to you just as a good Samaritan, for checking us out and everything. But I'll guarantee you can go look at that electrical codes and standards, and everybody else is going to charge you $20-$30 for that thing. We're just going to give it to you for free. And the reason is because we feel anybody getting into the trade, you need to learn the layout of the code and the interaction with other codes and standards. And this gets you in the right direction. And hopefully we think, well, when they see that we're giving them this, they'll, consider us for future stuff. But there will be other things that we'll be given for free too, like that we feel is important to the industry, that they learn, right away. We're just going to give it to you, But
nice. I want to give a big shout out. Thanks everyone for the likes out there. Smash that like button. I appreciate it. And like I said, I just talked with Adam. He said he's going to pop in around 8 his time. So we could just roll the Willie Quiz whenever people start popping in. Okay.
Let me go ahead and get started on the topic. We're going to be doing the 2026 NEC changes, which I started on, and this will be this is just first revision, things that were voted on that in my opinion are more than likely going to happen. And
and just to give everyone, all the haters out there, just pipe down. We know it's not set in stone yet. It's not been 100%. We're just hypothetically speculating on if the code was written today, what it would say.
I'll say this: the ones that mainly hate are the ones because we're actually doing it. That's usually what it comes down to. They want to hate on something that nobody else is doing, and that's one thing I like to say about our podcast is we've done a lot of things other people haven't done, and we've covered a lot of topics other people haven't done.
First ever talking meme. Nobody's ever had a talking meme before, so that was awesome.
All right. Let's roll the topic.
Yeah, I honestly cannot wait until the public comment stage, because I'm going to just ask them, all right, so what are we supposed to do with this incompatible equipment? And when they sit there and say you just can't install it there, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of laughter.
Oh, there will be. There definitely will be. All right. Now, there was one thing other than Article 210. They've added a new Article 206 for your remote control and signaling circuits. I didn't put all the text here. I just wanted to get into the committee statement. And basically what this is going to do is where they when you looked at class 1 circuits, we used to look at Article 725. And then in the last cycle, they made a new Article 724. And when you go look at Article 724 and you're addressing the scope, it's going to tell you over there that it's limited to power limited remote control and signaling circuits. And the reason this is because of the technical requirements for the non-power limited remote control and signaling circuits. And they're going to tell you that they're nearly identical to those circuits for your electric, light, and power, including them in Article 724 seemed redundant at that point. Okay?
Right.
So what did they actually do here is they took in the last cycle, and there was a new section they put in there, 300.26. And when you get in there and you look at it, it was at that point where they would direct the code user to Article 725 for the Class 2 and 3 circuits, and then Article 724 for your Class 1 power limited and remote control and signaling circuits, okay? So they did a lot of this right here. So what they decided at this point, due to a TIA that was created, was to provide provisions for the conductor ampacity and overcurrent protection that were added, and therefore the problem was resolved, at least until which cycle? The 2026 cycle. And when they did that, they relocated it to where? Chapter 2. Okay? Nice. And there was some editorial revisions and things that were done, but the main portion of this is now when you're dealing with this and you're getting into Chapter 2, they just relocated some of the information to refer you back over there to Article 724. Okay?
And just to let everyone know, TIA is tentative interim amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do that in emergency to change the language in the next code cycle.
Sure. Now, what they did here, this is at the first of 210.8, and they added class A, HF, GFCI. They did have that, but the real change is exception. And what it says is receptacles on rooftops shall not be required to be readily accessible other than from where? The rooftop.
The rooftop.
So the what they did is they took this and they moved it to the parent text of 210.8 as an exception. And basically what they're telling you here, that this exception applies regardless of what type of occupancy it is. Okay? Right. So that was one change. That was, I don't consider it a huge change.
I really like that high frequency GFCI that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. I didn't even get into that because I'm waiting to see how they're going to do it. Well, I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. Now, I wanted to address this. Okay. What they did here, they got into the specific appliance here, and they added clarifying for it being single phase. And then when you got into three phase, they added 100 amperes or less for 3 phase for every specific appliance that's listed here. Okay, so here's our substantiation, and I'm going to explain some things that I'm just going to prove some things. Let me prove something here. So here's our statement. The first level subdivision is modified to align with existing requirements found in 210.8. The 3-phase current circuit 100 amperes or less for your 3-phase. Then it says appliances and 3-phase applications are in use that are beyond 60 amp value currently stated, and GFCI devices are commercially available at this ampere rating. Then they get into the following input here, and one of the things that they did, I actually forgot to put the other portion of text in here, is they changed the 60 amperes here, you'll see in the 2, it says the branch circuit rating was not moved from 60 amperes to 50 amperes. So they kept it at 60 amperes here. Okay.
Right.
Now, what they're doing here is they're clarifying for these items here that need to take and have GFCI protection. And in the last cycle, they added a whole bunch of new ones here. Okay. Now, I've stated over and over, if you wanted something, say, a specific appliance protected here, and when you look at this, when they made the statement in this in the 2023 NEC, they were very specific. They didn't care if it was cord and plug connected or if it's hardwired. They wanted all these items to have GFCI protection. And
Sure.
I stated a long time ago, if they really wanted GFCI protection, they should take and put an AC unit here. Okay?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I'm just pointing a couple little things out here that I disagreed with that they did in the 2023. Now, saying that, that's going to bring me in to the next part here that's going to deal with F as your outdoor outlets. Okay? Now, I forgot to put this in green, but if you look right above exception 1, it says effective September 1st, 2026, GFCI or SP special GFCI protection shall be provided for listed HVAC equipment. Okay. Now, this is one where I've stated I don't think that the exception for HVAC or any of that should be here. I think if you really wanted this, it should have been in 210.8D, because I've argued over and over that when you're dealing with this is where there's no outlet. And
Sure.
I've actually have already started at the first where they dealt with a new definition of wiring device, and also they redid some clarification on receptacle outlet and didn't do anything for an outlet. Matter of fact, Don Gennari, he submitted basically what was supposed to be clarification where the conductors connect to. They just said it didn't provide any clarity at all. And therefore, I think we're in the comment stage. Now that I know their direction, I'm going to get even further clarification. But I think, in my opinion, I think this is something that's being pushed here. I think if you want GFCI protection on HVAC equipment, it needs to be in 210.8D. But
Yeah, so like if you go back to that last slide that you just had,
yep,
if you look at, or no, maybe one more, the drinking water cooler and bottle fill stations. So if this is in chapter 2, this is supposed to be protecting the branch circuit. But then all of a sudden you get your drinking fountain water cooler bottle fill stations, and they have internal GFCI. Now all of a sudden you don't have to protect the branch circuit anymore. Why is that? Why do you have that one exception just for that, but not all these other things?
that's right.
You know, so to me it's just interesting because EBSE comes to mind, and they have integral GFCI protection, but it's not Class A.
Yeah,
And that's going to create some problems, I think.
The thing that gets me is, if you read what 210.8D says, it says GFCI protection shall be provided for the branch circuit or outlet supplying the following appliances. Okay? It doesn't, an outlet is going to supply. That means it's already there. You're plugging into it. Here, they're not saying there's an outlet when you hardwire it. They're telling you to provide protection for what? The branch circuit. If everything already has an outlet, then why don't you just say, I would read this way. GFCI protection shall be provided for the branch circuit or outlet for the following locations. It wouldn't say supplying, because the outlet's where? At the equipment, apparently, by listening to some of these other guys. Why would you say it's supplying it? I mean, this is what I'm saying. This makes no sense whatsoever. What they say here, And then I come over here and look, and now all of a sudden the outlet's not supplying here.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, why would you have to mention that you could protect the branch circuit or the outlet? I thought you could just say outlet and it means everything.
That's right. And if you look here, it says including outdoor outlets installed at the following locations. You know, that means something has to be installed. It doesn't
100%.
mean once you install the equipment, then you have an outlet. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I brought up to them the other day. They were making, all right, so let me ask you this. I said, when I'm cord and plugging something into an outlet, I said, was the outlet installed or is it not installed until the equipment's plugged into it? I
Yeah.
said, you know how stupid that sounds? I mean, that doesn't even sound right. But
Yeah.
this is where we're going with this. And
I thought that was hilarious that you're like, it's not an outlet till it has something plugged into it.
That's right. I mean, you can't have it both ways. All right. Now, there was another thing that happened here in 210.13, and basically this is to put it in compliance with 215.10 and 230.95. This is where you're getting into your feeders in Article 215 and your services at Article 230, and this is to help eliminate the need for a second level of your ground fault protection of your equipment to achieve your selected coordination. Okay? And basically, they're just saying here, when you're looking at exception 3 and 4 and tying all this in, basically all this is doing is tying in that you already have something that's set up over here that already has, you don't need a second level because you may have already provided it at where? The service. Or you could provide it at the feeder that was over there. So once you have it one spot, you don't need it at another. Now, one of the things that I like here is because it's getting in and it's talking about the available fault current. And this is where they're telling you you have 10,000 amps or greater, and they're telling you that the ground fault protection provisions here that they have set up shall not apply if the fuses have a clearing time of what? 0.07 seconds or less. And and this is getting you tied into where you're dealing with sections 240.67, and you'll see the list B1, B3, B4, and this is where you're setting up and where you have your different methods to lower that available fault current that's going to be there. Okay? So, and then you pick up your circuit breakers after that. So they're just basically tying in the ground fault protection of equipment with 240.67, 240.87, and 215.10 and 230.95. We'll actually take this particular one and we will draw it out or illustrate it, and we'll show you the calculation and everything and why you don't need it downstream because you've already provided it upstream. Okay?
Nice. I like that.
All right. Then the next one I ran into was getting into 210.52C4, and this is where you had your receptacle outlet locations that are prohibited. Okay? And then they had a couple of exceptions there. And what it says here is required and permitted receptacle outlets shall not be installed on cabinet sides or wall surfaces that are below countertops and work surfaces. Required and permitted receptacle outlets shall not be installed on adjacent walls extending from the base cabinets within 24 inches horizontally and downward from the countertop and work surface edge within 24 inches vertically. So basically, they're just telling you don't do it. So I think, in my opinion, this is a pretty good change. And this is where they're talking about locations that are being designed in the requirements in 210.52C3 and C4 cannot be met. Okay. Right. So that was a change we'll be illustrating. And that was, believe it or not, that's all that was in Article 210 this cycle. Nice. Surprising me that were important changes in my opinion.
All right, well, let's crack off the tool real quick, and then if people start popping in, we could run over the quiz and then do our question last.
Okay.
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electrician's Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
Alright, so this week I have a special tool that ran across, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger every week, but this is the 7200 watt 2.5 kW power supply by Milwaukee. And so these things are getting to be awesome where you're not having all these like generator power and all this stuff. You're just getting into this equipment here where it's getting to be a lot more energy efficient, a lot more green friendly and stuff like that. But I saw this out one of the job sites and I was like, man, I gotta feature this. It's a new product. It just came out. It's probably only been out like maybe a few days. So I really want to like get my hands on a little bit more with some people that have these and see how they actually work, and kind of tell you guys a little bit more of the features. But I'll tell you right now, the one thing Milwaukee has down is they're really getting this power to where they're packing a punch. That was my one big complaint about Milwaukee, is that they just didn't have the power. But this thing is really packing the punch at 7,200 watts. So look forward to maybe a follow-up tool review on this in the future, and we'll kind of like get you some more information as far as like what kind of capacity. There's not been really that many reviews on how people like it, how it lasts, all that kind of stuff. But you're gonna be seeing more of this kind of stuff coming out, where you could just roll on a whole workstation. And they show it. I try to do some different pictures where they show you setting up pretty much like a whole camp on this thing and having all your stuff plugged into it and working out of it. So we're running into this a lot more. We have this same situation at our job site right now, where it's just going to be really hard getting power to a lot of different areas of the job until the utility brings power in. So these kind of things that come in handy, and we're going to be powering up our lights. I don't know if you know this, James, but my first word as a kid was light. So I've been turning on lights ever since, and I tell everyone that I'm a professional electricity waster. I go turn lights on and I leave them on for infinity. So
my first word was food.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
all right.
My first word was yum.
Okay.
Give me some good food. I'm happy, brother.
my first sentence was tractor go So that's pretty awesome.
But question real quick.
Let's do a question. We got time.
All right, let's get this knocked out and see what you got here. And they see this where you can have fan coil and stuff. Oh yeah, this was a new one in 2023. I think that was 440.8. I think is where it was. Yeah, I think it was 440.8 if I'm not mistaken. And we're going horizontally, not vertically. So yeah, it's 3 foot. It was just like other requirements. If it was vertically, it'd been 8 foot.
Yeah, and so this one to me was worded a little wonky. And I tried it. I didn't really want to fix it or anything. I mean, you are correct. The answer is 3 foot.
Yeah.
This was actually out of your code change book.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to me it was worded a little wonky because it said within 3 foot, which would actually be prohibited. So I'm actually giving everyone 2 answers this week because I said it's not permitted to be installed in the bathroom or whatever, which I was just joking around.
Team SOS jumped in the house.
All right.
Awesome.
Adam's up in here.
Let's go ahead and get the Willie Quiz started. It looks like we're about 2 minutes away.
What's up, Adam? How you doing, sir?
Hello, Willie Snyder and King James over here.
Yeah. And so King James is a joke. That's what everyone calls him. And, like I say, I don't know. It's getting around, James.
I'll tell you a story. It was funny because I go shoot pool on Friday nights league or for tournament, and Tuesday during league. And one of the guys, he was watching the podcast, and he goes, "What the hell are they calling you King James for?" I said, "Because I am the king, baby." He was like, "No, what really?" I said, "What happened?" I said, "We got these guys over at ECD." And they said, "Why don't you just ask King James since he thinks he knows everything?" And so we started making a joke out of saying King James. Well, when I go to the pool hall, I come walking here and they go, "Hey, King James." It's sort of like a joke now. So
You'll always be my King James going forward. I'll remember that.
Well,
all
thanks
hail
for
to the king, baby.
thanks for joining us, Adam, from downtown Winnipeg. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it.
Pretty awesome. And so we got an easy quiz, totally easy. You'll get everyone right. So I think James. Oh, you got the lightsaber in the house.
Is it on Star Wars tonight?
Yeah, Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Star Wars. Uh-oh.
I had to. Hopefully, it's good luck charm. I would just like the force would be strong with me in this one, and then hopefully we can ban it all 100%.
Yeah, and I try to keep James in the dark as much as possible to give my host an advantage. So should have an advantage. I kept in the dark on what's going on. You probably know more than him on that.
He keeps me in the dark on everything. It's just like
Yeah.
I show up and I just like the last 2 weeks I went 2 for 3, but the week before I went 0 for 3, and then the week before that I went 1 for 3. So it just All right,
it depends.
Let's roll your intro. Let's roll your intro. Get this party started.
You are now entering the zone of the Willie Quiz. Enter at your own risk.
All right, so this is the easiest quiz of the month, and so we're getting ready to have a new month in a couple days. So get ready and put your thinking caps on. James, it's his guessing cap, but see what I do with James, I give him a chance for a second option. He gets a second answer, so he's 100% on his second answer. So
I'd say about 98.
All right,
Daniel, you better be on here. You better not.
Daniel's got to be sharking around.
Already talking crap to me, not.
He'll be copying your answers. All right, here we go.
All right, let's get you set up here.
All right, so just to explain, the Mach is the speed of sound and the speed of light, essentially in a hypothetical Star Wars environment. So what is the maximum speed of the Millennium Falcon? Is it A, Mach 4 in Earth, or 60 times the light speed, or I think it's like 60% light speed? Is it B, Mach 6.5 Earth, or 75 megalight years? Is it C, Mach 9 Earth, 70 megalight years, or is it D, Mach 10 Earth, or 1.5 times the speed of light? Good luck, everyone.
All right.
Oh, dude, Daniel's on it. Daniel's already on it.
That's what I was going to guess. If I'm not mistaken, that happened when they first were in that bar they came into, and there was Chewie and Han Solo, and they were asking if the ship was fast. He said the fastest in the galaxy, and he said 75 megawatt per hour, whatever, Mach speed, whatever the hell they called it. But I remember that term. I remember 75, so I'm going B2.
All right, so Daniel's copying James this time, and Daniel's the 5-time champ. So I don't see anybody else in the chat. Where are you going, Adam? You say B?
I'm gonna follow the wise man King James and Daniel and go with, follow the footsteps. I'm gonna go with B as my final answer.
All right, and Cameron takes B, and everybody gets a win on the first question. Awesome answers. Good way to copy everyone.
Just follow
James actually.
Follow King James. Whatever
King James got that one. All right, and good one for Daniel. Hopefully he has good luck in the next ones.
All right.
So, what character was quoted saying, "I've got a bad feeling about this"? Was it A, Han Solo? Was it B, Luke Skywalker? Was it C, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Was it D, Lando Calrissian? Or was it E, just some random character at the cantina?
Definitely.
Good luck, everyone. Oh, Daniel comes out of the gate right away with a Luke Skywalker. Ooh, Daniel.
This question
Daniel.
This question isn't correct. There, all but E, every one of those, if I'm not mistaken, have said this before. I remember Lando Christian saying it, or Carlson. He said it when they were going in and Return of the Jedi. He said, I know Han Solo for a fact said it, and I know Luke Skywalker. I'm not a 100%, but I think Obi-Wan Kenobi said it too. So
yeah, I probably should have put a specific episode.
Yes,
that they said it
because
the reason right. I should have said who was the first person to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the first person to say it was Luke, but all of them said it. I do know.
Yeah, so basically, the reason that I didn't want to put like who was the first person that said it, because like they're all dated. So, you know what I mean? It would have been like one of these people wouldn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or a few of these people wouldn't even exist, but it's basically the person who was first quoted saying, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Luke, if I'm not mistaken, but I know all of them said it. That's all. I can even see them in my head watching the movie. All of them said it. I'll go with B, but all of them said it.
Yeah, I agree with King James. I'm pretty sure they've all said at some point. So I guess, I know Han Solo will probably be the favor option for all Star Wars fans out there, because he's the one that stands out the most. If we want to throw a twist in the question of like who said it first, then I will lock my final answer as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right, and Adam with the last second win. You are correct. He was the first to say it because like Luke Skywalker wasn't even born when he first said that. So yes, you are correct, James. And I didn't want to just give it away by, because yeah, you're right. Lando said that too, but I don't even think Lando was even around when Obi-Wan. Maybe he was young, but as far as like the time frames,
Well, I was thinking the way the movies come out.
Oh,
right.
Okay, that's a good point actually. Then
Yeah, because the way the movies come out, Luke was the first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It started with episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3 came out first. If you look
I think everybody gets a win.
Yeah, I would say.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll give everybody a point on that one. All right.
Everyone's a winner.
You're dealing with a Star Wars nerd here, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I got
All right.
All right, let's see if your next question's better.
All right. It's all good. All right. So they all did not say. Well, what character was quoted? What character was quoted saying, "I'll see you in hell"? Was it A, Luke Skywalker? Was it B, Han Solo? Was it C, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Or was it D, Lando Calrissian? Good luck, everyone.
I'm gonna wait for
All right, so far Daniel is tied up. Daniel's gonna be Han Solo.
Did I get an extra point if I say I know who he said it to? It was Han Solo. He said it to Princess Leia.
Oh, I thought there was going to be maybe a twist in this question. Like, I know the actor Harrison Ford said, "I'll see you in hell," but for some reason, what sparked to my mind first was Indiana Jones, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think that I don't know. I thought it might have been a twist, but yeah, that is correct. I believe Han Solo did say to Leia, "I'll see you in hell." That is indeed correct.
Yeah, so far everyone got perfect across the board. It was Han Solo, so we have a tie game with 3 questions already. Everyone gets 3-0. So I wasn't doing a very good job of trying to get you guys on hard ones, but which actor was
okay?
Okay, question number 4. What actor was second choice to play Han Solo if Harrison Ford declined? Was it A, Sylvester Stallone? Was it B, Christopher Walken? Was it C, Kurt Russell? Was it D, Burt Reynolds? Or was it E, Chuck Norris? Good luck, everyone. All right, Daniel comes right out of the gate with B.
Yeah, very quick response. I think the confidence is strong with Daniel there. Oh, Cameron as well.
Yeah. Going B.
I can even go fully into this. I know all about this one. When you look at when it was first come out, there were 2 that were looked at. It was Tom Selleck and Harrison Ford, but Tom Selleck never got the opportunity because he was working on another one. I forget which movie, so he was out. So then it was Harrison Ford, And the two that they were really looking at after that, if he declined, was Christopher Walken and Kurt Russell. But Christopher Walken was the first choice. And then even later on, Sylvester Stallone even stated that he made the right choice, that he wasn't right for that part. And I don't ever remember anything about Burt Reynolds and Chuck Norris, but Christopher Walken was the second choice, which I think he'd have been a good one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I agree too. I think I'm pretty sure Christopher Walken would have been the second choice for Han Solo. I think I'm on the same boat with that one.
Yep.
Oh man, you guys, I don't know why you just keep listening to King James, but you made the right choice. You are correct. It was.
And King James, we trust.
Yeah. I realized that I was on Team SOS podcast. They all said do Star Wars, and I did Star Wars, and then James like, oh, I'm real good at that. I'm like, oh, damn. So, it's all good. All right, what is Yoda's last name? Is it A, Yoda Mithralus? Is it B, Yoda Ardeen? Is it C, Yoda Scary? Or D, Yoda, no last name? Good luck, everyone.
I actually know this one.
All right. So Daniel's right out of the gate with D. 5-time champ Daniel J with the answer of D. Yoda, no last name.
I can tell you this: his first name is Mithralis, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Mithralis. His last name is actually Yoda.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. Like, or his first name was like, I thought it was like maybe Minch, but I think what you had to correct. I think you're correct. I'm pretty sure like his last name is Yoda. So I guess the best answer here for these four options would be probably D. I guess. Well, no last name.
I think they pronounce it Mithras.
Mithras.
Right.
And that's why I think that's exactly right, because it's something similar. That, but I know his last name is Yoda, and that any Star Wars. That's real big on that. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, if you watch Mandalorian, I think that's the first time Baby Yoda is introduced, and I think that's the first time you hear his last name is actually in Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes, I have Disney Plus. I love Star Wars, so D's my answer.
All right, so Cameron goes D. Everyone, all copies King James. And the answer is D. Yes, he has no last name. But I thought you'd like that, James, how I put his first name in there. And
so it was that name. I had a feeling. I knew it was something like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was that we just do this for fun, Adam. You know what I mean? Like, James, he's gonna actually have a parade down there in DFW. He's gonna drive around there with the golf cart with the flag waving, and he's gonna be like,
yeah. Make sure to like get a big crown and put it on the top of your vehicle, and then just get the flag out. Yeah.
That's where my antenna goes up there.
Exactly.
You must know him. He's gonna be celebrating this for a minute, but next week is an NBA. Thanks, Cameron, for the suggestion on the topic. So I'm gonna go NBA next week, and I think I might be able to fool James a little bit better with the NBA than Star Wars.
I told you, man, Star Wars my jam, boy. I remember when that first come out. I remember in high school, it was my senior year, and we all went, there was a whole bunch of us, probably about 30, 40 of us. went to 7th Street Theater
wow.
to see Return of the Jedi, which
Oh.
was the third one, you know.
Yeah,
And we all were pumped up about that, and I was like, hell yeah.
I can imagine the experience. I know my dad told me similar stories. I think for A New Hope, like it was so big that they took the whole school on a field trip, and I'm like, that must have been.
Yeah.
Oh,
Star Wars was huge, and I still say The Empire Strikes Back was the best.
Yeah, I should do all King James trivia for NBA.
You can say who's the best basketball player. It ain't him. It's Michael Jordan. I don't care what anybody says. Michael Jordan, the jam, baby. All you got to do is listen to the old school guys. They'll tell you, shit, he ain't no Michael Jordan.
Dude, I like growing up. My dad was like a big fan of like Villanova and stuff, and he used to always talk about Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain was a bad dude. One of my favorite players back before Jordan come out is I like Julius Erving. I thought that guy was incredible back then, and but I remember watching all them guys. God, man, they were good.
All right.
Now,
Well,
if you ask me today who I think the best player in the NBA is, I don't care what anybody says. I like Luka Doncic at the Mavs. I think that guy is one bad dude. And you listen to other NBA players, if you started a team around somebody, who would you start around? They say him. That's how good he is.
I really thought that Djokovic, the Joker over here in Denver, like, oh, dude, he's amazing. Like, I couldn't believe some of the times where he just posts up, like, half court shots and just swishes them. Like, that's incredible. Oh, we got a Metro SOS in the chat. Awesome.
Woo! Awesome dude.
Yeah.
Very awesome dude from the SOS team. Yeah, no, I'm happy. I don't know if you just came in now, Metro. We just had our Star Wars. I know he's a huge fan of Star Wars, so I'm sure he would have banned all those questions off.
Yeah, and it's awesome because I tried to make it like easy, like I said, so everyone gets the answers. Don't want to have any losers. Like didn't want James to like miss any, but like I say. I actually took those from like hard questions from Star Wars, you know what I mean? So
yeah. The first
question. Hey, here comes Rhino up in the house. What's up, Rhino?
I went 5 for 5, Rhino.
Dude,
oh yeah.
He's got a new name. It's now Grandmaster King James.
There you go. And see, all you're doing is you're just pumping up his ego. So then I just get to crush him next week. Just crush it.
If you have a favorite color, just let me know and I can send it through the force.
That sounds good. I'm gonna count it. That's 11 I got 11 out of 11 correct so far in a row.
Nice. Yeah, Rhino, dude, you're welcome over here anytime. I send Rhino the quiz was a Star Wars, so it's pretty cool. All you had to do this week was copy King James, and you got the right answer. So it's pretty simple.
I was even explaining exactly when it happened and everything. That's how good I knew Star Wars.
Yeah. He's like, he said it to this guy, or he said it to Princess Leia, like it's like, okay, dude.
When was Yoda's name given? That was in Mandalorian. I was like, I know these.
Which episode of Mandalorian or which episode or season did they mention like Yoda's a bit of his name there?
I think that probably took place in the second season around probably episode 3. Somewhere right in there.
Yeah, season 2 is the one where the show ends with the Luke Skywalker cameo with the CGI as him being young. Yeah, okay.
It gets good, and I watched Andor and what's the other one where the girl has a
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, yeah, I watched that. That's the one where they had the CGI where Luke came in, and that's when they were going to that planet, and she was getting in that fight or whatever, and he was telling her to control her emotions and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have a personal favorite show? Like, of all the Disney shows that Star Wars has produced so far, I think would it have been? I guess the Mandalorian. It would have started with the Mandalorian, and then we had the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and or as we stated, Ahsoka. Do you have any personal favorite?
I like the Mandalorian the best
Of all the
that they've done. Yeah,
so far,
Mandalorian was
from
my
Disney Star
favorite.
Wars.
Yeah, I don't really have a favorite. I'm like old school kind of. I'm like Empire Strikes Back was always one of my favorite episodes.
I think it's the best
movies.
one. It's the best
Yeah,
one of all of them, in my opinion.
I just kind of stick on that one, you know, and then I was with James. You know, like I'll never forget it. I think I was like just coming out of like elementary school when Return of the Jedi came out, and same thing. We all went down there and we were all fired up, stoked up with our popcorn and all our movie stuff, and it was like crazy to see like the Death Star blow up, and then all of a sudden somehow it didn't 100% blow up.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
a funny
like-
story. Back when I was in high school, the first job before I started working ICT, I worked at the 7th Street Theater, and on Friday and Saturday night at 12 o'clock, I didn't get out of there and home till about 3, but they did the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Well, my dad, they had come to a late show, him and Mom, I don't remember what they were watching, but they come out and all the people were out there all dressed up. My dad looked there, he goes, "Screw this, what the hell, look at the way they're dressed." I said, "You ever see them down on the front stage acting?" I said, "You think this is something?" But, I worked that so long, I can almost recite that thing because I could just hear it in my head, and them getting up doing the time warp and all that stuff. And let's do the time warp again.
Yeah, and it's so funny too, because like we sometimes have James's dad as like a guest on our show, and he'll like tell stories about like him as a kid, you know. And so one time they were at church, and James was like, "Hey, Pastor, don't you really like my belt buckle?" And it was a Coors Light, right?
Right.
And his dad's like, "You wore that to church?" And so then he's like, they probably think we're a bunch of alcoholics. And the pastor's like,
no.
that's a real pretty belt buckle you got there. You know?
Oh no. I'm sure. Now today you guys look back and it's just a nice big laugh. I'm sure.
Yeah. He's got so many stories he'll tell about me. It's just like,
That's awesome.
Yeah, but you're welcome to hang out, Adam. We have one more segment that we're doing. We have a Facebook group called the Wall of Shame, Electrical Wall of Shame. We just do a last little thing, and you're welcome to hang out and check it out. And
all right, let's roll it.
Yeah, for sure.
roll.
Let's roll. Yep.
Shame. 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 Shame.
And just to give you a little backstory, how do I record some of this stuff? And I actually took that one out of the what is that show? The Game of Thrones.
Oh,
So
okay.
I merged a little bit, but dude, I still don't know if this is real.
I want
And
to
then-
know how they got that damn thing on there without it tipping in the front.
That
I mean, he's not even reaching anything.
No, it definitely looks photo AI a little bit for sure. This phone, it should not support that way. You think?
I'm going to say this. If they were able to do that, that's impressive. Because I don't even know how they'd be able to do that.
To me personally, it's already fully extended as high as it'll go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I mean, it might be able to go a little bit higher, but like, you're not reaching anything. Like, you have to be up at least a little bit higher to actually put in lights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I'm calling this fake.
Yeah.
I'm calling this shame.
Yeah. The more and more I look into this the photo, it just AI kind of cries out to me. So I think I'm gonna go with fake as well.
I don't know.
every time I look
What do you
at it,
think, James? Like,
I
you
think-
can't even reach nothing. Like, the dude's like, it's like not even close to the ceiling. Like, his head's like not even at the ceiling level yet.
I think
Yeah.
it's fake. But the thing that amazes me is how they got it out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't know how they did it. I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, how the hell would you even do that? That thing would cave in on one side right away.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's no way.
It's not that strong.
Hell no.
Like, that is one hell of a floaty.
Wow. Man. Dang.
Like, dude, they'd have like Adam would have his new water wings just made out of that material, like, you know. I don't
That's
know.
actually pretty interesting, though, just seeing somebody would come up with that idea as an AI. That's pretty funny.
So there's one that we ran before, Adam, where it's these genie lifts, and it just shows it at the bottom of a swimming pool on its side, you know. And we think I thought it was photoshopped or AI generated, whatever. And one thing about these genie lifts is what happens is if you don't turn them off, like if you don't hit the stop button and you walk away, then they'll start beeping and they'll be like beep, and they're really loud and annoying, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay,
so a lot of times you'll have this job site where you have like 3 or 4 of those things, and all these guys, they go to lunch or whatever. Next thing you know, I got 3 of these things going off, right? And so one of my captions on the thing was, I bet you could still hear the beep and it's at the bottom of the pool, you know what I mean? I was like, I bet you somebody had to swim down and hit the stop button on it so you didn't have to hear that annoying beep, you know?
Oh,
But-
for sure.
Funny.
It's just the way those are. But no, really awesome. Thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate you doing the Lord's work, and you know, you're an awesome individual, great human being, and
Appreciate it. Appreciate
appreciate
I
you.
got a question. What's Team SOS?
Team SOS. So, you know, I think I've always been really passionate about, you know, instead of just me doing my own thing, I always wanted to just kind of form a team. So it's not just me
Right.
trying to grow, it's trying to get a team up there. So I was in the SOS. I've always been a fan of just mental support on people out there. You know, you never know. You never know. I guess the goal of my streams is just try to make someone stay a little bit better out there, and
Sure.
that's how we kind of came up with the SOS portion. So just the team SOS and just trying our best in our ability to spread the positive energy out there. And yeah, I would say my motto is just to make someone stay just a little bit better, not a lot better, just a little better. That's why
Sure.
I'm very energized in my streams. I maybe am goofy sometimes, and just overall positive.
Awesome.
Well, I really appreciate it, Adam. You made my day, and this is actually Adam's first ever collab stream. So that's pretty awesome that you could come on. You didn't need a password. I didn't need your password. We didn't need any of your login information, you know. So
I'm relieved. Thank you. I'm super relieved for that. Thank you for letting me
He
know.
told me that, and I said, "What? I thought you do
Yeah.
the damn link."
No, yeah, no, I was the only who, but yeah, no, another individual was like, I need your password. I'm like, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, my Spidey sense went, since it's a Star Wars topic today, the Force was. So
I think the reason that he was trying to do that is to, like, me and James, we kind of he made me an admin, but he didn't need like my sign in password or anything like that. But some people think they don't understand how to do it right. But you know, it's different things I could do in the stream just because I'm an admin versus being like like at your status just getting a guest link. But at the same time, it's like you can still see all like our sweet stuff, and you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Like, we're not scared.
No, and I'm sure obviously the intentions were not malicious or evil, but obviously it's just a rule of thumb that, you know, certain things is just meant for you, and then privacy, etc. You know, so.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, no, it's really awesome having you join us, and you're more than welcome to come on. I'll try to I'll try to pick some like better things, and maybe have Rhino, maybe copy James instead of you, and you know, like.
I know.
You know,
yeah, I know.
It's really awesome. All you guys are great sports. Rhino's been on here a few times, and it's been a good time. And like I say, James is getting a reputation with his, his win streak and everything, and so I'm sure he's gonna be at DFW Airport driving around the circle with his crown on the top of his truck and spewing diesel smoke all over.
We gotta get a crown. We gotta get a banner flag. We gotta show its all glory to the whole world.
Yeah.
With the truck jacked up, of course, because everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Texas. Yeah, you gotta jack it up, and then there you go.
There you go. Well, and then he's even gonna get a little bit more froggy with his old stars and everything. So.
Oh yeah, Dallas Stars, right?
No, they're tied 2-2. They lost last night. Tonight I'm gonna watch the Mavericks. Hopefully they get it tonight. They're up 3-1. So.
Yeah. That's right. I'm more into hockey, but I'm trying my best to follow NBA as well. So that's right. The Mavericks, they just need one more win, and they're on to the finals against the Celtics, right?
Yep, that'd be for the NBA championship. So we're having a good sports season down here in Texas.
Yeah, I know. I was mentioning that a lot. Like Dallas it's a great time to be a Dallas fan. You got the if the Mavericks are up 3-1 on paper, you think they should finish the job, and then Dallas Stars. Before the series started, I'm like, okay, 4-5 max, Dallas should finish the job. I would definitely say I underestimated Edmonton a little bit, because now it's like the series is tied, so I can maybe even now see a potential Game 7 in this series coming up now with Edmonton and Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
True.
I got to tell Bill. Last year we had the Rangers win their first ever pennant, in baseball, Texas Rangers, and the only thing we're missing is for the Cowboys to do good. They're, Jerry, I don't know what's going on over there, but my Longhorns, they're looking good. They were in the playoffs last year, and they're going to be again this year.
Yeah, I know. I know my
so we always do the hook 'em horns at them at the beginning of the show. So always, I gotta do the hook 'em horns.
That's
and I don't know if you know, but it was my 200th episode of the Willie Jackerson podcast, Willie Jackerson Experience podcast. So 3 years, I finally hit 200 episodes, and I am trying to make America metal again. So. That's where the hook 'em horns come in.
This is the 200th episode, correct?
No, I'm saying on my Spotify one. It's a separate one that I do.
Gotcha.
It's not a video one, but it's just one of the ones I did. It's like a comedy podcast, and I just joke around a lot.
Yeah, this one's probably, what are we at, about 110 or something? Maybe going on.
We were at 111 the other day, so we're probably at like 120 now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
yeah, we blasted right past 100. I was like, oh man, I'll catch it right at 100, and we were at 111. That was a few weeks ago. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. We just do this for fun, and James puts together graphics. I put together the audio, and like James puts together some audio too, but we try to just he brings in his slides and stuff, and I try to bring in my work experience from the job site and stuff, and we just have fun doing it. I have a page on Facebook called NEC Code, and I just joke around and just try to post up myths and try to get people to attack me, and like it's just real fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy people call me an idiot. It's
the same ones over and over. It's always the same guys over.
I can't read, and then we'll come on the podcast. I'll sit there and read like a whole bunch of stuff. They'll be like, "You can't read." It's like, okay, I just read like a whole entire paragraph live. So.
No, I totally understand. Obviously, if it's not not out of malicious, or if you're not, as long as you're having a good time, I can relate. I'm obviously a super goofball on my streams. I misread everything all the time. I get called out, and I love it. It's just I agree. I just how I look at it is, we go on our lives on a day-to-day basis of work, school, whatever it may be, and at the end of the day, let's just have some fun, just turn off our brains.
That's right.
And
you're gonna have those haters, like when you're putting yourself out there, like on social media or whatnot, and you know, like I say, hey Adam, do you know how to read? You know what I mean? And it's like, so what? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? You know?
No, exactly. If you look at it this way, it's a win-win on your end. You know, whether hate or love. I mean, if you really think about it, you're winning at the end of the day. You know, they're investing their time into you. So it's like, who's, you know.
So as an example, like there's this guy, Paul Abernathy. He runs this podcast, and he just hates me and James, and he's saying James is riding his daddy's coattails and all this stuff. Which his dad actually wrote a bunch of code publications, different like electrical publications and stuff, and then he's continuing his father's legacy and putting them into like online PDF form, all this stuff. And so he's sitting there like, oh, he's just riding his daddy's coattails and all this stuff. And so he sits there and starts all this crap. He actually did a whole entire podcast about me, how I'm a cancer of the industry, and how I'm like ruining the electrical industry and all this stuff. And I took the whole entire podcast and I put clown music behind it and rebroadcast it as my podcast, you know?
Nice,
and just stuff like that. And then I actually got the audio of him saying, and then he takes my whole entire podcast and he reproduces it with freaking circus music behind it, you know? And so then I put that in the podcast, you know what I mean? And I just keep building on it. And it's like, and to me it's fun. It's like, you know, we're just having a good time and whatever. It's like, you know.
How do we do it?
If you didn't want to be called out, then you know what? It's like, don't call me out unless you want to be called out. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes people just have to remember, you know, it's just at the end of the day, it's just entertainment, right? Like, obviously, like, and I say many times on my streams, it's like, hey guys, like, how I act in my streams, I don't do it in my real life days. Obviously, you know, my character on the streams and in real life are two completely characters. You know, on my streams you might see me as super talkative, super extroverted, but in my real life I'm actually quite opposite, super quiet, super introvert, and you know, just kind of do my own thing. So yeah, no, people, you know, sometimes obviously it's the internet. There's not much you can do. You're gonna have a lot of youngsters, trolls, etc. So the best thing I can say to anyone out there is, if you are invested in doing social influencer stuff, you have to just turn that off of the haters. Like, that's what I decide myself, is when it comes to hating, turn that side off and don't literally take it to heart. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just text on the screen. You know, why would you let that, you know, get the better of you?
Well, and see, that's why we wait to have you on a little later, because then we have this one troll Gopher fan. He like passes out usually by, you know, the time you come on, you know, so he's not even in the picture, you know, to come troll anything, you know. He's done.
He's more than my door will be wide open, and he's more than welcome to troll if he wishes.
Yeah, I don't know. This guy, he wants to have another debate with us. You know, we had a debate episode with him, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. I was the moderator, but then I had to like step in, kind of shut him down at the end. But it was a fun debate. You know, he asks us the same questions over and over and over like a broken record. You know what I mean? He doesn't prove his point. Like, he thinks he can prove his point by asking us one question. You know, and it's like James went, and I think you did like a 20-minute presentation on your point, and then he goes, well, let me ask you this question. That was his whole argument. You know?
Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun episode. But I don't know. James is probably. You got to get Dad over to eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him to eat. Usually on Thursday, I usually cook something around here, because I actually the last 3 years on Wednesday night I go over his place and take cooking classes. And I already knew how to cook, but I'm refining myself these days, and I make all kinds of cool types of dishes and stuff. And Dad's like, God dang, man, freaking eating good around here. Like, and you know, we just, you know, I just like to cook different things, and like the other night.
And I always call him for the Thursday podcast right when he's starting to cook. So I gotta like figure out my timing. Like, wait till you're done cooking
When you're in the middle,
He's like, step
I'm
one,
talking
the
to
phone
stuff.
rings, you know.
I made something the other night. I made this Mexican stew dish called not carne asada, it's called carne guisada, and there's a few steps go through it, but you get it where you put a little fire in there and you get it all browned up. And I had these spices and stuff, and I added the liquid and stuff, and I was sitting there just sort of slow, medium heat, getting it going, thinking a little bit, and I was like, wonder what it tastes like. Took it by, I was like, oh god dang, that's freaking good. Dad come in, he goes, this smells good. And I took a spoon and I said, taste the sauce, and he goes, oh man, what'd you put in that? I said it's a secret. I said, and it was actually I learned this. They were that night, it was like 2 weeks before, they were doing Mexican spices and showing how to do certain types of things for making roux and stuff for stews and things like that, and doing sauces, you know. And I learned, like, there's one that I do is a guacamole jalapeno sauce, and it's more like it's almost like a salsa in a way, but it's a little thicker, and you actually add sour cream to it also. Boy, I'm gonna tell you what, I actually took that over. We actually had a bunch of people come over. We were having a party, friends and stuff, and I made a big bowl of it. Everybody's like, I want this recipe. I said, I ain't giving you my recipe. But I learned that from going that, you know, I'm learning all these different spice techniques and stuff. And one of I never used it before, but one of my favorite spices that I use now is cumin. In Mexican food, that's one of that changes. And another one that you put in there is white pepper.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
I never thought I'd be discussing cooking on electrical channel.
Yeah. Well, we just had 6 people leave just now. No, I want to say I really appreciate everyone joining us. It means a lot. Thanks so much, Rising Rhino. Thanks so much, Adam, for showing up with us. Thanks so much, Metro SOS showing up. Thanks so much, Cameron, popping in. And as always, the 6-time champ, Daniel J. Thanks for joining. Awesome. You can.
He didn't win that. I went 5 for 5.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, Mike Barr. Awesome. And you know, everyone else that jumps in the chat, we really appreciate it.
I'll be in there in a minute. Dad was just telling me, come here, he goes, Mavs are up 69-49 at half.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
All right.
They
should close it out. But you know the problem where the Nuggets, they were up by 20 at half and they got closed out.
Don't you ever compare the Nuggets to the great Maverick team.
It was rough. Like, I mean, we faced a big scrutiny because looked like we were just gonna take the win in Game 7, and then we ended up losing. So I'm not trying to compare. I'm just saying any given Thursday? Any given Thursday, you know, you could lose. But it is what it is. You know, I'm not saying that Texas can lose or Dallas can lose or anything like that. I'm just saying, in general, any given Thursday, you can lose.
We're just living the good life down here in Texas, brother. What can I say?
Well, awesome, everyone. We'll let you and Senior go have some food and everything. And thanks, Adam, for being with us. And you're welcome every week if you want to jump in and hang out with us. It'd be a total honor, and we really appreciate you being with us. And like I say, I don't know if you know this, James, but I have my own custom emoji on Team SOS.
Ah, really?
We have a Willie emoji.
The Willie
emoji in the house. So sorry to burst your bubble. You ain't the king of that, brother.
Oh, No, you just didn't say that. That's hurtful. I'm gonna have to go get counseling now. You know that, right?
No, you just gotta come. You just gotta come join Team SOS and say I'm King James, and then he's gonna have a King James freaking emoji for you.
With a crown and an antenna sticking up.
There you go.
Lightsabers and all in Texas, yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and I really appreciate it, James. Do you have anything else to say?
No, not really. Nice meeting you, Adam.
Nice to meet you too, King James. Master Skywalker, King James.
Skywalker.
Well, remember,
the horse is with me, baby.
Well, remember, make every day an easy day.
Absolutely.
Out.
Everybody
Amen.
have a good weekend. We'll see y'all next Thursday.
God bless. Take care, guys.